January 6th dominates the news cycle again as we get even closer to midterms. ABC, CBS, and NBC leading news coverage with the latest. The committee voting to subpoena former President Donald Trump to testify before the committee. Trump says he will accept January 6th committee subpoena on one condition. He testifies on live TV.
That is actually one of the things that has animated him. He's been talking to advisors about how, he would consider testifying if they would air it live, which is also not surprising. It seems hard to imagine the committee would go for that.
Now, why wouldn't the committee go for that, Maggie Haberman? She and Jake Tapper continue to talk about how bad it would make him look, so why wouldn't the committee accept that condition? Another testimony we never even got to see was from Ray Epps, a provocateur caught on tape that day encouraging others to go to the Capitol.
Going to the Capitol, it's that direction. That's where our true problems lie.
Yet Ray Epps was mysteriously removed from the FBI Most Wanted and dodged the D.C. Gulag, while others accused of much less continue to be deprived of due process. Why is Epps the only participant to be painted as a victim by the New York Times? Epps makes another curious cameo in this CNN Pelosi propaganda film.
Oh my God, how did that guy get up there?
Is the speaker about to happen?
What if they try and run the Capitol?
As Todd Starnes points out, Pelosi just so happened to have a film crew at the ready on January 6th.
And that's what this is all about.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is
Oh
my
wow,
moment.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out, and I'm going to go to jail, and I'm going to be happy.
And that's a federal felony to threaten a president, Pelosi, but she knows the Justice Department is in her deep pockets. But now we're coming up on 2 years of talking about January 6th. How much do the American people really want to hear about this when suffering from crushing inflation and soaring gas prices? Newsbusters, on Thursday, American consumers awoke to the news that they have been experiencing all along, that inflation continued to soar in September at a rate of 8.2% year over year. Yet the 3 evening news broadcasts gave that news a backseat to January 6th. ABC, the worst offender, devoting more than 8 minutes to the news while giving just 45 seconds to inflation. CBS dedicating over 5 minutes to January 6th and just 2 minutes and 30 seconds to inflation. And NBC spending nearly 4 minutes on January 6th and only 2 minutes and 27 seconds on inflation. Bringing you what's ignored, sensationalized, misleading, or just plain false, here's your media malfeasance for the week. We now know the reason for pumping up propaganda the American people don't see as a priority in their day-to-day lives. Mainstream media is out of touch, and there's growing evidence for the inequitable treatment, propping up the side that funds the corporate-led machine and mocking those who challenge them. Research shows that while news outlet references to both the far right and the far left have been increasing, the study found that most mainstream news media outlets mention the far right much more often than the far left. MSM has been characterizing parents upset about schools pushing highly sexualized material to minors as far right. But now that hundreds of Muslims have joined the outcry, silence. Anyone see this on CNN or MSNBC? Dearborn Public Schools shut down a board meeting after hundreds of mostly Muslim parents erupted in chants of "vote them out." The parents were enraged over sexually explicit LGBT books made available to students in school libraries.
You worried about the gay people? No problem. We're not worried about the gay people. We're worried about our children. Okay? And second of all, I don't want to hear anybody, sitting there saying, oh, you guys are offending the gay. These are kids. They can be 18. If they want to become gay, let them become gay. Who cares? It's not our problem. We don't want kids to have access to these books. It's nice and simple. I'm not going to address the situation no more. It is. It is what it is. And the only person that's behind this is Rashida Tlaib.
Oh.
Do not vote for Rashida Tlaib.
Oh, there it is.
And you thought it was bad when PayPal kicked gays against groomers off, yet kept the business of a pedophile support group on the platform? Well, PayPal watched its stock dive after they threatened to fine people $2,500 for wrongthink. Now PayPal said those terms of service went out by mistake. But none of us are buying that excuse, clearly. PJ Media warns PayPal did not back down, still threatens $2,500 fines for promoting hate and intolerance. And remember, PayPal's definitions for those words can be whatever they wish. Speaking of words, Senate candidate John Fetterman struggled to find them in an interview this week.
And I always thought I was pretty empathetic, emphatic. I think I was very, empathetic.
Reporter Dasha Burns has faced criticism for this.
Dasha, this was not a typical candidate interview.
No, Lester, because of his stroke, Fetterman's campaign required closed captioning technology for this interview to essentially read our questions as we ask them. And Lester, in small talk before the interview without captioning, it wasn't clear he was understanding our conversation. Can voters trust that you will be able to do this job on day one?
Yeah, of course.
That's right. She faced criticism for making observations and asking the questions voters deserve an answer to. The very job of a reporter. But then there's our commander-in-chief who doesn't think you need to be cognizant in leadership.
I went to a little school called Holy Rosary Grade School across from the Claymont Fire Hall, and all my buddies either became a firefighter, a cop, or a priest. I wasn't qualified for any of them, so here I am. But, you know.
Even SNL is now acknowledging Biden's declining mental capacity.
This week, President Biden pardoned thousands of convicted marijuana users, and it feels like maybe he celebrated with them a little because yesterday, Biden gave a speech at a car factory and opened with this.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
Representative Lauren Boebert baited Biden supporters with this tweet. 2 words, let's go Brandon. And they took the bait. Blue checks like George Takei mocked her for not being able to count, totally missing her dig at Biden's math mishap. Well, I've got 2 words for you, media malfeasance. And that's all for this week. Join my community for more at ChristyLeeTV.locals.com.